Om. Om. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Brahma Miristiparantakare Banushashi Bhumi Sito Buddhasha Gurusha Shukra Shani Rahu Keteva Sarvigraha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om. All right. Greetings and welcome to another episode of KozmicKev100. This is your weekly Astro Video Zine. It begins Friday every week, and this is for September 2nd, 2022. It's the beginning of Labor Day weekend, folks. Here in the States, this is like the last hurrah of summer getaways for a lot of folks. Well, you know, sun's in Virgo. It's sort of like the end of summer, that beginning of harvest, and we've got a moon in Scorpio this morning. The moon's in the constellation of Scorpio in both systems, and it's moving out of Vishaka, which is the triumphant gateway, and its expansion, and Jupiter ruled, and it's about branching out, and it's going into Anuradha. Now, Anuradha is sort of related to Radha in the Hindu mythology around Krishna. Radha was a married woman that really had a spiritual hunger, and so at night she would sneak out to listen to Krishna and his stories and meet him for spiritual wisdom. And the symbol for Radha is the lotus. So, and it's all encased within the constellation of Scorpio. So what happens with the lotus? It blooms in mud and then withers and dies away, and its seeds are cast for the rainy season. And then the rainy season comes up again, it starts growing, and once it starts getting dry again, boom, it blooms. So this is about transformation, and this is also about friendliness. The ruling deity of Anuradha is known as Mitra, and it's a god of light. It's a guise of the sun that is really the friend to everybody. And so sometimes these people, you know, you see this in the Anuradha Nakshatra. I mean, I guess people born, like, say, from the 18th of November through, like, the 1st or 2nd of December, you know, their sun sign will be often in Anuradha. And so, you know, they like to live in two different cities at once. You know, it's like, oh, I love going between Chico and Arcata, you know, the two northernmost state university systems cities and towns that really built a lot around the fact that there's a college there and there's education. I mean, Chico is a little more industry, is a little more multicultural, and it's a little less isolated. It's a little closer to the Bay Area and Sacramento. But both cities do have a multicultural vibe just because of the college being there. And to go to two places, you know, go to the land of oak trees in Chico and the land of redwoods in Arcata, it's really delightful. I had a brother whose sun sign was in Anuradha, and he lived in New York and moved to LA and moved back and forth and did things. So he has a lot of connections in both cities, which are really major, of course. So that's something about Anuradha. But lotuses are also laid at the feet of our teachers. And Mars gives us the ability to get rid of evil. And there is this, it's a Saturn-ruled nakshatra, and Saturn-ruled nakshatras, for some reason, because nakshatras are about our vata, kind of our more spiritual, etherical energy, it seems to work better there. In Western astrology, we say you have a Scorpio moon about 3:39 Pacific Daylight Time, then the moon goes into Sagittarius. So, I mean, talk about a moon where you want to travel, you want to go places in Western astrology. That is certainly the Sagittarius moon, and we can see in both our Vedic Hindi references and our Western tropical kind of Greek-rooted references. You know, this is a traveling nakshatra. tomorrow, for those of you in the Chico area, I'm going to be giving readings at a local pop-up. You can message me if you want to know more about that. It'll be your opportunity to get a quick read from me. I'll be doing that between 6 and 10 in the evening tomorrow night. So looking forward to seeing you face to face. I really appreciate you. So let's go with it. On and on with our horoscope, starting with you, Aries. So greetings, Aries. Welcome your horoscope. So now, the sun has moved into that Vedic part of Leo known as Purva Falguni. And it's about entertainment, and it's about the best of everything that life could have to offer. And so now we're in Virgo sun in tropical astrology, and Aries, that is your 6th house. And so how are you working towards the best of everything in your life? Sometimes we look at Virgo as a critic or as the prude. But, Virgo also could be the first one when people get to a lake on a hot day that takes off their clothes and goes in and swims. They want to connect deeply with nature. In fact, my little brother, who's a Western Virgo sun sign, he used to love to roll around in the dirt. It's just like, man, and he's doing really well in life, Shouts out to Mikey if you're out there. But for you, Aries, it's about counting your blessings right now, even as you have to work hard towards what you want. And because of Mercury's presence in your 7th house, you're more of a sweet talker these days. Mars being in the 3rd house has given you courage. I think I mentioned that last week. It's also a time to connect with, male siblings or male friends you had when you were growing up. All of these work, It also could be like where you visit a library of guns, so like a gun museum. It's kind of mundane and sort of out there. Where'd that come from? But, it goes that way. Okay. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. Well, this has not been the most settled time for you, but it's gotten better. It's like right now you're feeling like, I can be more in my heart. I can express myself. I feel a little more grounded right now. Things are not quite as erratic and windy. I just want to be in my heart space, doing creative works. I want to pay attention to my children. If your children are adults, they live out of town, perhaps you want to travel and go visit them. It's always a nice thing to do as we're in this late summer phase. Now the moon, I'm sure like yesterday was sort of romantic, maybe a little bit even this morning, but it's sort of like moving towards, oh wow, I can't really control things. I'm going to say that you have to be open to other people's plans this weekend, really, for Taurus. It's not like you're going to be able to control the shots, and I know like fixed signs tend to like to control things, especially Taurus and Leo. But it's okay. You know what I mean? If you let your husband or wife make plans for a change, it's going to be all right. Everything's going to work out all right. I just want you to know that, okay? And that the other thing that happens this week is like Venus moves into Virgo, and that means it's in your 5th house, so it's like love becomes more accessible to you. We say that Venus in Virgo is debilitated because what's the one thing that ruins love is like when you criticize your lover, when you criticize your partner, when you tear them apart, when you have a resentment or unforgiveness. That's why Venus is debilitated in Virgo and it's exalted in Pisces, because Pisces is like, who cares, I'm having fun, we're going to just love, That seems to be what works for Venus. From what I've observed anyhow. It's a rough place, it's a rough place to go, but you're going to have more love in your life, Taurus. That sounds good. Greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. So, you've got the power! Yeah. That's what I say to anybody who has Mars transiting or a natal Mars in their 1st house. It's like, wow, this makes you really physically active and you've got power. Now, if you take the other Mercury sign of Virgo, and where the sun is right now, that really believes in physical fitness and good health, and you've got Mars in the 1st house, I'd say, even though they square each other, this could be a motivator. Squares can motivate you. It's like, I want to lose those extra 3 inches off my waist, or more, if you're like most Americans, it's like, I do not want to be jiggy, jiggling around and feeling uncomfortable in my own skin. And I've heard that if I eat better, like lots of fruits and vegetables and less refined grains, less sugar, more whole foods and healthy amounts of healthy proteins, I'm going to get better. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to feel myself better. So this could be a good time for committing yourself to being the best you can be health-wise, especially since we're still in a waxing moon period and you've got some ability. And Sagittarius loves sports, so like this weekend, it's a good weekend for romance, but it's also a good weekend for physical activity. And there's nothing better than when you've been physically exhausted from working out with somebody and then you kind of collapse into each other's arms. It can be very nice. I also want to give you like this other thing too, is that, Mercury's in your 5th house, and so, you're really having a lot of fun with words and communication, but Mercury's going to go retrograde next week, and so this might be your last really good week to tell that person how you feel about them. Greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay. Now, the thing about the moon is that it goes through every sign of the zodiac in a month. A lot of times people have really rough Mondays, and it's like, why is that? The moon goes through all these phases, and so, all these emotional ups and downs. It can be exhausting. You had this nice chilled out Sunday where you were just kind of relaxing, enjoying family, and suddenly there's, all these needs come up. Oh my God. All these things. People need nurturing. They need their socks darned. They need their lunches made for school. There's all these things, and regardless of gender, a lot of us have to take on the role of a mother. I was a single father for a while, and once you get in that mode of mothering, it never leaves you really. You want to be able to do that. It's a good skill for everyone to have. Be concerned about them. And so Virgo time, is about friends. It's about neighbors and showing concern for your siblings and gleaning information. And since this is the last week where Mercury's going direct, and next week is going to be a Mercury retrograde week, it's like, be direct. Take advantage of this time. Not only is Mercury going to go retrograde next weekend, not this weekend, but the next one after that, it's also going to be a full moon. So this is going to be a lot of bizarre, erratic behavior. And just staying grounded, being positive, taking care of your stuff right now. This is going to work for you. I believe that. Greetings, Leo, and welcome to your horoscope. Okay. So, Virgo time's about taking care of business. It's about money. It's about your voice and your neck. And it's about family, and putting on a good face. So we just had that whole new moon thing last weekend, and now moon's in Sagittarius by late this afternoon. So it's like Sagittarius moon, feels good for Leo. That's the 5th house, and so you're kind of like, yeah, I've got something to share with people, and Leo in a lot of ways can be like one of the best gifters. One of the people, it's the Leo in us that gifts other people things, it's like the people that are good fathers, they want to give to others, make them feel good, make them feel needed, make them feel important. Jupiter in the 9th house is also an indicator of fathers and fatherhood, and it's really like a lost art, we've heard, if you look at all the TV shows from like the early 70s on in the United States about fathers, with the exception of maybe like the Waltons, they're mostly all like complete bumbling idiots to some extent. And so there's been I'd say like a psyop on fathers. And it isn't we can complain about toxic masculinity, but that's probably not going to stop men from being toxic. I think what's really going to do it is encouraging them to do the right thing. How do we positively train our boys to be responsible? You know, you're sending off a boy to college, you know. He might get together with a gal. There might be an accident. She might not want to get rid of that kid. Is he going to say, well, I didn't intend that to happen? It's like, dude, man up. Be responsible. If this happens, that's your child. You need to support that woman. You know, we live in a disposable society. Yeah, there is, you know, medical procedures that people do to eliminate their children. But really, you know, you're eliminating a part of yourself. And I get the whole thing about population, all that stuff. I'm not anti-choice, but I am also pro-life, and that I want to see you as young men rise up and be responsible, and be the best you can be. And I also want you, if you're already a father and you have boys, be encouraging to your men to do the right thing, you know, and to bring honor to your families in good ways. And just that we have a certain amount of freedom, you know, in being a species that doesn't get pregnant. I mean, I don't know what that is, or gender. Now they're trying to eliminate gender and all that stuff. And, you know, I guess to really young people and super progressives, woke people, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm just like, I'm sort of an observer of this whole thing. This is going to be interesting to see where this goes. But the real place where it needs to go is everybody love each other, know that we're all just souls, and just be concerned about the soul being of whatever that person is and how they represent themselves. That's the real truth, folks. The real Leo truth. I'm going to Virgo time now. Greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. Here it is. This is your time, you know, to really, really shine. All your best abilities. You're the flavor of the month, okay? And so all your best abilities are going to shine out. I want to give some shouts out to some Virgo people I know that are having birthdays this week. One is my friend Rob Morosi in San Francisco. Another one is my friend Sally in Issaquah, Washington. One of my co-radio people, Sister Shoshana, I think it might be her birthday today, unless it was yesterday. And Carrie Ziegler over in Hawaii. All these Virgo people that I know, I just want to give some props to you this week. If your birthday for some reason just passes through my consciousness. Okay. So, you know, Mercury's going to go retrograde a week from this Saturday. And so Mercury's in Libra, second house, so it's really paying bills, taking care of financial things, you know. Do it early. Do it now. Don't wait, because don't hesitate, because after, you know, Saturday, things are going to get a little bit whacked. And just to have that little warning is always helpful. You're doing good, though. You're showing a lot of promise in the workplace. You're working hard with Mars in the midheaven. You're looking for a spiritual relationship with Neptune in the 7th house. I mean, Jupiter in the 8th is like you're really interested in occult mysteries and how to be the best you can be with that little extra edge of spiritual power and insight. It kind of sounds good. I like it. And I think that, you know, as we go through the week, especially like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to be really empowered when the moon's in your 5th house in Capricorn. I think I'm sensing good stuff. All right, greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. So you've got the intelligence right now. You've got a really clear vision of what's happening. Now, one of the deals, I didn't tell you about this last week so much, but like Sun's transiting your 12th house. Okay, so this is a time when it's really easy to be a part of your own undoing. Yeah. And, you know, now Venus is in the 12th house, you know. So maybe there's this gal at work. She might be a little bit of a gossip. She does, you know, or pretends to be your friend, but she might not have your back, you know. Remember now, Venus is debilitated in Virgo. So, you know, it's not, you know, in the Vedic sidereal zodiac, fortunately, it's not there yet. So it's not debilitated in that sense. If it was in both, I'd be like, really, oh boy. You know, and then one of my teachers, Shambhavi, once said, any Venus is a good Venus, so don't, you know, don't trip out. It could also be like erotic dreams, you know, and you know, the pleasures of the bed, that could be Venus in the 12th house too, because sometimes the 12th house is a bedroom. It's kind of like where we go to sleep. It's the end of the day, so to speak, end of life. This weekend, I think short trips are more in order than going someplace really crazy far away, with you know, moon going into the 3rd house this weekend. So it does indicate travel, but just not like crazy far away travel. And also like traveling with like a sister or a brother, you know, or a friend that you knew back in the day in elementary school or high school or undergrad, you know, those people. So that also is positive. And you know, there's a Jupiter in the 7th house. You're partnering up. You're attracting good people, really, regardless of your gender. Good people are coming in your sphere. And Mars and Gemini, well, you know, it's like going to taking on a challenge, you know, and just being cautious when you're entering into new territory. But it also could be like a yoga training. You know, that's a really good Mars in the 9th house thing, or martial arts training. Greetings, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. Yeah, we've got the Mars in the 8th house again, and Pluto in the 3rd house. And even though they're not trining each other or anything, they kind of activate each other in a weird way, because 3rd house is 8 houses away from the 8th house. And Mars brings courage to the 3rd house, and the 8th house, it wants to explore the occult. It wants to explore astrology, tarot, positive affirmations, doing physical rituals that could bring about change. It's also facing your own death and things that you're not in control of. Virgo time, it's a social time for Scorpios. This is a time where Scorpios like to go to parties. It's like, oh man, welcome back from your summer vacation. Let's get together. Let's have a little tea time. We're going to have a you know, like a small dinner get together with some of my best peeps, you know. Oh, how lovely that would be. You know, you're giving me ideas, Scorpio. Yeah, the moon's in your 1st house, you know, in the morning, or if you're watching this Thursday night, you know, you're right there doing your thing, and things are about to get better for you. I see this sense of overall improvement. I see like financial gains for you over the weekend, and just connecting with friends and working on your home this week, and hopefully by the weekend being able to connect with your children. All right. Greetings, Sagittarius, and welcome to your horoscope. You know, it's still Jupiter in the 5th house. It's one of the best things that could happen to anybody. But then there's Mars in the 7th house, and it's like, how can I be kind in my relationships? How do I practice kindness? How do I practice gratitude? You know, sometimes I like to go to a place that has like just $1 cards, or you know, a used clothing or used stuff store, thrift store. Pick up cards, thank you cards. You know, we can never say thank you enough. Thank you is probably the best prayer we could say. Now, I mean, you're sort of like the flavor of the month and the star of the party this weekend, Sagittarius, because Moon's in Sagittarius this weekend. So I know you're going to have a good time. And, you know, it's going to be hard to let the party go on Monday, you know. That's all I can say. It'll be hard to let go of that party, but, you know, you'll do the best you can. And a lot of people have to work, you know. A lot of people work weekends, a lot of people work holidays. Not everybody is privileged or privy to this. And to be honest with you, I would rather take a 3-day weekend off when not every single extra is on the road, and you know, fighting for a camping space or hotel room or Airbnb. Well, greetings Capricorn, and welcome to your horoscope. So I guess the moon's going to be in Capricorn by Monday afternoon through Tuesday, much of Wednesday. And Virgo time is a really good time for you. So it's like I see this really positive start to your week. I see this excellent productivity. I see this natural attraction in you that's helping you. You know, personal growth is not easy, and you're having to face realities about maybe older parents, about family members, and some of it's really good. You know, a lot of it's heartwarming, and you know, hopefully good things are happening to your mom and your life in general. Now, Mercury in Libra is, you know, that's your 10th house, that's your workplace. So things could get a little bit nutty in the workplace by next week. So just keeping everything as chill and as orderly as possible in the workplace is going to help you negotiate next week. Yeah, and now that Venus is in Virgo, it's kind of like it inspires long distance relationships. There's sort of this element of lucky and love. But, you know, long distance relationships seldom really work out. They do once in a while if you just have this soul connection with each other. It's important to consider that too as you're going through this week. And I'd say, you know, you'll dream big dreams this weekend, but you might want to just stay home and avoid the crowds, you know. I think that's a good message. And just pay attention to finances and just be cautious, make sure you're giving, that you're not like hoarding and holding on to stuff. You want to keep a good flow in your life right now. Well, greetings Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope. You know, Virgo time is about transformation for you, and it's about the occult, and it's about magic, and it's about other people's money, and it's about sexiness, and it's about birth and death. And so, you know, I don't like give myself a tarot reading every day. I don't really like, in fact, I prefer not getting readings unless I sense something's going to be good, you know, or be practical to guide me through something. You don't want to indulge in fear right now. And self-imposed restrictions might be good. Sometimes just changing your diet, changing a bad habit, it really helps you. And so this is a time where you've really had to mature a lot. You're paying attention to timing. Your responsibilities are as great as they've ever been, and you're just going to be doing the best you can with these responsibilities. Now on the lighter side, Mercury in the 9th house gives you divine intelligence. You've got this divine wisdom, and that you're a really good student, and you're learning deep spiritual truths, and you're helping yourself move forward. You're helping other people move forward, and that's what we want to hear. We need that. We need to move each other forward right now. Jupiter in the 3rd house is like all about making new friends, folks. You know what I mean? If you're traveling on the road, taking a short trip, just be aware, you know, if you're in a place where you can be friendly with people, it's really good just to smile and just say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you tuning in today. You know, I want you to be doing well. And a lot of that is just kind of releasing your sense of control and giving thanks for all these good things that are around you. Because you're going to be creating more good things. And, you know, it may not be the most stable time in your home life and things like that. You know, just bring your self-compassion first and then extend that to someone else, and I think you'll get through this period okay, unscathed. Greetings Pisces, and welcome to your horoscope. Well, I mean, yesterday was a great day for you, is probably what I'd say. If you're watching this Friday, I'd say Thursday was amazing. And sometimes it's hard to come down from that. I mean, Friday, you know, now the people are hitting the road. They're getting ready to go, right? Moon's going to move into Sagittarius. And that's like your midheaven, how you work. And so if you're going out on Labor Day, you know, you're going to be responsible for a lot of the entertainment, is what I see, and putting things together. People are going to be looking at you. If you're working this weekend, that's even more likely that you're a worker bee and you've got to produce whatever needs to be produced. But the cool part about that is working on these weekends, you're going to make lots of money. And with Jupiter in the second house, I think you could clean up really well. And I try to, you know, discourage people from doing things when everybody else is doing things. You know, if we can just kind of make more room on the planet. I mean, it's important that we all get together at times, and it's nice when we can have a shared party. I'm not against that. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, we've got to be cautious. We've got to be careful on the road. With Mars and Gemini, people could be distracted by two different things at once, you know, and so that duplicity, and sometimes there's like a mercurial impatience, and we don't want that to mess with our experience, right? You know, and so there could be a restlessness with Mars in your fourth house right now, and that might need to be addressed. And then with Mercury in the eighth house rolling around there, it's like, I mean, you're a sign that knows about magic like no other. Very, you know, kind of similar to Scorpio in that way. And so there's a lot of interest in things like this. But if it's only if it's white, you know, only if it's light, only if it's giving, only if it's in the light. You know, don't engage in anything muddled, anything black, anything dark, because it'll bite you in the end. You know. So let's hold each other tenderly this week as we go through this weekend and next weekend. Use a lot of caution. Have a lot of fun too. I appreciate your comments. Thank you for tuning in. I would love it if you would subscribe to this forecast, share it with a friend, maybe ring the bell notification, and continue to keep your comments coming. I value you. Thank you for being here. You're an important person on this planet. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Tat Sat.